Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Today is Pig Day. Today is the day that we are expecting delivery of our new herd coming up from South Carolina. So come along and let's see what's going on here. Okay, so in preparation for our pigs, I'm not 100% sure how big these pigs are. I know they're under 100 pounds, but it's one of those things till you actually see them, get an idea of accommodations. They're coming from Six Oaks Farms. We've talked about that out of South Carolina, David Crafton's operation. And getting 14. So 14 that were weaned, I think weaned before Christmas, I believe. So one boar, the rest gilts and barrows. And so what I've decided to do is we've got our pastures. If you saw our video from last week, we got our south pasture, all updated, fence, all that type of stuff, electric line, 14 gauge, all rehabbed. Just tested it. We're getting 11 kilovolts, so that'll make anybody stand up and moo. So that should take care of that. But I think what we're going to do is, the thing that just keeps rolling in my head is putting these pigs on pasture. They're new to West Virginia. They're new to the climate, all that type of stuff. Are they just going to hit the road? Just blast through the electric fence and go. So in considering that option, Kelly and the boys and I worked today on getting our weeding pasture set back up. So the camera is sitting in the barn right now, which is an area that the pigs will be able to go to, and they'll hang out there, stay dry, all that kind of stuff. They'll come through our muddy corral area here, but they'll have access to this entire area here. Just a little lot. It's got woven wire, has a single strand of electric all around to obviously train them, remind them of what electric fence is. David, again, said they were already trained to fence, but make sure they know it's here. And give them a little bit of forage, little things to hang out with, again, shelter. So we'll probably do that for a couple days, maybe even a week. Feed them in here, give them water, make sure they know this is new home. This is the treat zone here, and see how that goes. So here's our temporary accommodations we have. Again, nice and dry. A little bit of sawdust, a little place for them to hang out. Of course, you have my old feed bins there, so they're not tall enough to be an issue. Knock any of that stuff down. I probably will go ahead and move the oil just in case. So we're expecting them here this afternoon.
If not, we'll have to take these off and then get it back strapped down. I don't know. Yeah, we're doing right now. Might be because it's tight on the top.
You feel that heat rolling out of there?
Yeah, it was steaming our glasses really bad this morning. That's why we couldn't see. They're all comfy.
Hot swine.
Steaming up the foot.
If I grab you, you're going to start screaming, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Poke them from behind?
Well, you don't want them, unless they want them jumping off the tailgate. Come here, buddy. I'm not falling for that sucker.
Okay, here we go.
He'll be happy with that.
Can't tell, they're so dark.
Yeah, it was the same litter. So the two boars were from the same litter,
Yeah, this guy's attacked still.
and I think it was one of these. I think.
I'm gonna go back and add it, check it all up. Both reds are gilts. So we got two boars instead of one. We got one extra pig that David sent. So it was like I don't know if it was like Murray's, where you get chickens, you get one extra. But you can see I put red stripes on our two boars. Everybody else is either a barrow or gilt, or two reds or gilts. I think our two whites are barrows. And then we have an assortment of black. Got a really nice sized gilt here. I believe she is yeah, she's a nice gilt. Got those flop ears too. Little gilt right here going at it. Digging a hole in the corner of my barn already.
There's a lot of you.
All right, so we got those pigs unloaded. That was fun. They're just at that size where they look small and easy to carry, but they're like little torpedoes to try to hang on to. But got them in the barn here. Again, really glad we decided to do this, to be able to put them in, close them down. So right now they're even quarantined just inside the barn. So I think I'm going to have them spend a day or two here before we even open up and let them in the training paddock. Really want them to get established with this is home, this is food, all that type of stuff. As small as some of those are, they could definitely slide under some of my fence areas on main pasture. So we either may have to go back and adjust that, or even do a small temporary pasture, or just again leave them in this sacrificial area for a while. So we'll see how it goes. We'll do some more video in the morning when it's daylight, so we can get a better look at them, get some better footage of them in the daylight. Got a nice mixture of. Does look like we have two boars, which I wasn't expecting to, so we'll have to figure out how that's going to fit into our game plan. But the rest gilts and barrows, and seem to be a good looking set of pigs. So. Morning, piggies! Y'all a little hungry this morning? Have some slop. Yeah. You look crazy. You guys want to do some exploring? Don't get lost in the mud. If I get lost in the mud, you can really tell they desire to be on pasture. See if they respect the fence. They're already kind of giving it some slack there. You know the old adage, if you ain't bleeding, you ain't working? Something about rainy days that just make me do stuff. I busted the crap out of the end of that finger. That thing hurts. There's a fence. Yeah. Okay, so with 15 piglets like this, on this hillside, with this much ground cover, comment below how many days you think it'll take before this is surface of the moon. Before they eradicate it all. Granted, we have a lot of mud. Curious to see how long this lasts. Alrighty, well, it's the third morning of pigs on pasture here. They have really settled in well, I guess, if we could say, or they've made an absolute mess of everything, as pigs will do. Pig, 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 pig. Pig, 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 pig. One thing I do when I go to feed them, I did this with my other pigs, is obviously spend some time with them, interact with them, that type of thing, but have certain sounds or whatever they can associate with. So the side-by-side is probably one of the biggest ones, and in my experience, they hear that side-by-side running, and they learn, oh, that's feeding time, and that really helps me if we'd happen to have a jailbreak, and they're in the middle of the valley, or they're down the county road. I can ride that side-by-side very fast, very efficiently, and that draws them in. So I have that, get in the habit of using that when I come to feed, even if it's just simple for me to walk down, but get that auditory connection there. And then also I always do my call, pig, 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 yeah, pig, 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 pig. You know, something to that degree when it's time to feed. That way there's something else there that they can latch onto. It's kind of a Pavlovian experience, you know, ring a bell, that type of thing. So I'm going to feed them out now. Pig, 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 pig. Pig, 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 pig. Yeah, pig, 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 pig. They're like, we're right here, dummy. What do you got to keep calling us for? Pig, 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 pig. Pig, 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 pig. And by slime, I mean pig poop. Pig, pig. So I'm still figuring out their ration. This herd, I'm going to try something different. We'll see how well it lasts or how long I could stick with it. But doing a ration of soaked grain in lieu of doing a free choice of dry grain. We have our pig mix, our feed mix, 16 and 12% that we start with 16, finish with 12, but it's a powdered, and you ground really fine, and that's why you see them, you know, going to town on that. Almost looks like an oatmeal type mix. So when I add water, it almost turns to concrete, but it really, you know, should help with the digestion. Of course, that's the whole point. So I'm soaking 2 days in advance of a ration, but just trying to figure out how much ration we're going to ramp up as we go along. Obviously, you can look at the standard, you know, weight charts, you know, 3 to 4 pounds per pig per day. But I'm kind of starting at a base and moving forward, because obviously introducing the water adds to the weight. So, you know, dry weight versus wet weight, you know, size of the pig now, size of the pig full grown, all those type of things will come into play. So as I get that figured out and have a little bit more intelligence around that concept, then I'll share the details with y'all. So with 2 full days in the sacrificial pasture, how has it turned out? Well, it's definitely been sacrificed. So they have wailed on it. What's crazy is that hillside, there was a bunch of autumn olive there that my son cut down, and I assume the autumn olive tree, the berries this fall had fallen down in the ground there, because they have just turned every bit of that. I mean, that has been plowed under. Again, it's a sacrificial area. Yeah, there'll be some erosion, but my ditch line catches most of it. That's the problem with West Virginia. You know, I don't have enough flat land to have a flat sacrificial area, so there will be erosion to tend with here. But I'm going to keep them on this pasture for probably, I don't know, at least 2 more weeks, I think. We'll see. We'll just see how it holds on. I mean, you can see they're killing my berm for my ditch and everything, but that's something I can easily pull this fence back and recorrect with my tractor if it ever stops raining. We're supposed to get rain for the next 5 days in a row. So I don't think I shared with everybody what breeds we're actually talking about here of pigs. You can see there's obviously a variety of color, shapes, and sizes. But David at Six Oaks Farms has been working on, he's kind of been perfecting the breed, been working on different lines, kind of exploring all these different options. You can check out his farm for more details or listen to our podcast. I interviewed him twice, talking about 2 different specific topics there. And you can get more insight into how he raises his pigs and what he's looking for breed-wise. But the sire for all of these pigs is a large black. I think that's pretty obvious. You see that in some of these ears. One of our boars here really is showing a lot of traits of just a nice large black. So that's the sire. And the dams, there are 2 different dams for this litter. One was a Tamworth. And of course, I think you can see that in the reds. And then the other was a blue butt. And that's why you have long legs over here, these two barrows. So we'll have that same situation. We'll have, since our boar is, he's a large black, we've got a lot of large black in him, then we'll probably be carrying that trait forward. We'll see. But again, there could be some Tamworth and some blue butt in that. So as I mentioned, I ended up with 2 boars there. And I'm really not quite sure what I'm going to do just yet. I talked to David about it, got some suggestions from him. I'm leaning towards looking in the next 2 months, just watching them, seeing how they relate to me and to the other pigs, just checking confirmation, just that whole thing of attitude and approachability, and see who wins in that situation. And the one that doesn't win, we may retire him, go ahead and process him, or get rid of him somehow, something like that, get him off farm. I don't think I'm going to keep 2 boars. That's just too much to manage. And my first foray into boars, I'm used to my boar product coming in a little bottle, not something that's running around on pasture. So that's probably the direction we're going to head. But feel free to comment below if you've got some suggestions on what to do there. But I've noticed there's definitely, out of the 2, there's one that's less aggressive toward the other one. One's definitely the alpha. So there's obviously pros and cons to keeping the alpha. If he's alpha, then he's going to be able to keep everybody in line and do his job. But does that factor into me as well? Does he try to keep me in line? I'd rather not have an aggressive boar. But we'll watch. We'll see. We've got a couple months before he starts pitching, so we'll see how that shakes out. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. We'll definitely keep updating on what's going on with the pigs, and hopefully this will be a kickoff to a long new process with this herd. All right. Take care, everybody.